Let's get some music going. Hit the record button.
Got it.
It's good to be back, yeah. Back again. Back with my friends. Back with Mr. David Hastings. How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm living that dream, my man. How are you?
Living better than the sinkhole life you're living up there in Jersey, so just happy I'm down here because apparently another one opened up on 287. And just swallowing up parts of Earth now and don't really know why. So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds for you. But unfortunately, I know that means a lot more traffic probably on a daily basis.
Every freaking day. If you leave at 5 o'clock to get from Parsippany to my house, it's about 2 hours.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah. That
is brutal. So, yeah, I don't want to keep bringing us down with that, though. That's no fun, and people didn't tune in for that. So this is not the Sinkhole Show. This is Die on This Hill. And if you're watching us already, like, subscribe, follow, share, do all those free fun things for us, because why the hell not? It helps us out. So exactly. all that being said, it is March Madness. So we can start with March Madness, but I got to tell you, I know that there are 0 perfect brackets left. There are none left out there. But at the same time, kind of surprises me a little because, I mean, day 1 and 2, the biggest upsets we got were 12 seeds. McNeese State, and I'm trying to remember the other one off the top of my head. McNeese State, I think, beat Clemson, and the other one I'm forgetting. But either way, there are 2 12 seeds that won this weekend. I think one Thursday, one Friday. Biggest seeds. But you look at what's actually advanced to the Sweet 16 now. All 4 number 1 seeds, 3 2 seeds, 2 3 seeds, 3 4 seeds. So a lot of the top seeds kind of made it. It's kind of a top-heavy bracket this year. Weirdly enough to say.
I think that's probably why that's why, ESPN had 24 million brackets and none of them are perfect after the first weekend. Is because you always expect some more upsets. You expect that Cinderella team, and you don't really have a Cinderella team this year. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. I mean, my bracket was busted on day 1.
The biggest seed left is a 10 seed, and that's Arkansas. And honestly, I'm going to ask you a question. Are you surprised by Arkansas?
I mean, considering how good the SEC was this year, not really.
I'm going to say no for the flat-out reason that they got Calipari. The guy's got meant for the NCAA tournament. This is what he does. Constantly gets teams here. I just look at it and I'm like, you know what? Kentucky doesn't really surprise me. They're a 10 seed. But to me, they're not really a 10 seed when Calipari's coaching.
Yeah, but the way their second game set up to play St. John's, who is having such a magical season, I think that's why a lot of people probably didn't pick them to go much further than maybe winning their first game. I mean, a lot of people were big fans of St. John's.
Oh, yeah. And then Pitino ran into Calipari. And Calipari can coach, So, I mean, listen, Pitino can too. And I know that's why that was probably the biggest upset of the weekend was that game. But at the same time, I don't know. I have a hard time calling it an upset. Yes, it's they weren't the favorite. But at the same time, you can't tell me that Calipari's experience doesn't mean something because it clearly does. And that's why Arkansas went out and got him. That's why they brought him in. And, because Arkansas has never been really known as a basketball program. So
no, the entire SEC is really shocking people this year specifically. But, yeah, I mean, Arkansas was probably, out of the teams in the SEC that made it, they were probably the least favored to, have any real impact on the tournament. But
and the Midwest went perfect. 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds in Sweet 16. That's rare to see that an entire bracket goes out where it's all just top teams. That's I don't know. I can't remember the last time I've seen a bracket like that. This top heavy.
To be honest with you, I can't either.
Like we're normally sitting here and talking about the runs like we talked about last week with, Florida Gulf Coast or these other teams that go crazy getting these big upsets. There just weren't this year. And that to me is just the wildest fact. I just sit here in awe of how there was no big upset and big run this year from somebody.
Yeah, I would completely agree. And I think the other thing too, right, is that like when you look at this tournament, it's a big surprise, but when it comes down to the rest of the basketball we're going to get to watch for the remainder of this tournament, you're going to get some really great matchups and some really good teams going up against each other. You're not going to have that, they're just a Cinderella team, but at some point, the fairy tale is going to end because, let's be honest, the fairy tale always ends. None of the Cinderella teams ever go win the national championship, but it is a positive too for some, especially if you're a casual fan. This is going to give you that chance to, maybe, as the NCAA, maybe win over some people and, have them become a little more involved into the sport. Not that the NCAA needs more money, but still, that's what you do it for. You know what I mean? So, I think that could have some positive spin on it as well. Is just the fact that you're gonna have some really great basketball games starting on Thursday.
And speaking of that, I want to ask you. So, out of the SEC teams left, because like you said, they've had a pretty good run here. I mean, you got Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Auburn. Like they got a bunch in here. But the one that's sticking out is Arkansas because they are that 10 seed. They're going up against Texas Tech. What SEC team do you think makes it the furthest going forward? Like, well, who makes it the deepest left in this tournament? Because I'm going to make an argument. I think it could be Arkansas. I think they could get past Texas Tech, and then looking at the game after that, they got the winner of Florida Maryland. They're going to be familiar with Florida if they get them. Like, I could see that being a winnable game. I don't know. I can see Arkansas maybe as a 10 seed making a run, and I would say right now I'm going to die on that hill and say, yeah, give me Arkansas as the SEC team that makes it the furthest.
It's funny. I actually had Alabama losing to St. John's in the national championship game. So you're picking the team that knocked out my champion, and they're coming from the same conference as the team that you're picking as well. But I got to stay true to my bracket and give myself any hope possible to have a respectable finish to this tournament when it comes down to the points I earn on Yahoo. So I'm going to have to go with Bama, just simply due to the fact that I have to go to Bama.
Out of the 16 teams, 7 of them are SEC teams. Almost half of this field is SEC teams. That to me is also wild to think about. You think SEC, you think football, you think Nick Saban, exactly. You think Alabama, you think Texas, you think Oklahoma, like you think football, like you don't LSU, think basketball. You don't think basketball, but yeah, here we are, and they got 7 of the top 16 in there. So that being said, 50-50 shot. Do you think an SEC team, and maybe you already picked this with Alabama, but do you have an SEC team winning it all?
I mean, like I said, I chose Bama to lose to St. John's. So,
but now would you pick them to win if St. John's isn't there?
I got to look back at the bracket and see. I don't think Arkansas makes it to the national championship.
So they'd get the winner of Duke, Arizona, Alabama. If they beat BYU, they get the winner of Duke, Arizona. And then from there, they would get either Houston, Purdue, or Kentucky, Tennessee. They would get the whoever comes out of that bracket to get to the national championship. So they wouldn't have to face. They wouldn't have to face. Florida. They wouldn't have to face Arkansas. They wouldn't have to face a Michigan State or an Ole Miss or an Auburn or a Michigan team. So I don't know.
I mean, I think out of the first weekend, Duke was probably the best looking team. And they arguably have the best player in college basketball. So, I mean, if I have to pick
Cooper
from
Flag?
what's remaining, I probably I'd probably take Duke.
Okay.
I hate to say that as a Tar Heel fan, but I think that's where I would go.
Really? The Dukies. All right. I could see it. I think, like I said, the team I'm going to run with right now, I think they're hot. They're getting hot, and I think the coach can help them is Calipari. So give me Arkansas on a run right now.
All right.
That's where I'm leaning. But we both agree that this is the most top-heavy bracket we've seen. I think that's the biggest takeaway from especially this first weekend.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the SEC has been shocking people all year long, so it's only right that they've done what they've done. And, I mean, to have a top-heavy bracket the way we do this year, I think it's going to lead to some fun, like I said, going to lead to some really fun games this coming weekend.
I agree completely. And again, another exciting weekend of just sports in general. That's going to lead us into what we could talk about next. And speaking about, sports and things going on, we'll save that. I was going to go to Ovechkin, but you know what? We're going to save Ovechkin in case Fife is able to jump on. I know he said maybe around 8:30, so I don't know if we're going to quite get there, but we're going to leave that one, and I'm going to pivot. And I'm going to pivot to a little football right now instead. And breaking news today. We're going to start here. Breaking news. The Giants decide not only to sign Jameis Winston, but have now also signed Russell Wilson to a 1-year, $21 million contract. I guess it's kind of low risk, high reward type deal. It's a 1-year deal. And to me, this just hopefully solidifies, as I've been putting it in the ether and in the cosmos now for many years. This has been at least 2 or 3 years now. I've been saying, Arch Manning, he's coming. Arch is coming. I can't stress it enough. To me, this move specifically, you're on a 2-year deal with Winston, a 1-year deal with Russ, and Tommy DeVito, I don't even know what he signed, but it's peanuts. It's got to have me thinking that they're going to take either Carter or Hunter at 3 and go in all in next year for Arch Manning. I don't know. What are your thoughts? But to me, that's just where I'm leaning with this move, which makes me excited. Makes me trepidatious for the year, too, because I'm thinking, like, with Russ, he played pretty well with the Steelers. He's got weapons. Maybe they could do something. But, again, how good can they really be? I still don't think they're better than Washington. I still don't think they're better than the Eagles. And, unfortunately, I still really don't think they're better than Dallas. So, I mean, can they hopefully surprise some teams? Maybe if their defense really steps up? I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling here. I'm going to let you take it. Give me your thoughts. Russell Wilson to the Giants on a 1-year deal. Give me your Dallas perspective.
I mean, it does absolutely nothing for me when it comes down to making them anything more than the worst team in the division. But what I will say is that I think the pro of it is exactly what you're saying right now, right? It's, hey, we're not going to wave the white flag on the next season. We want to try and be competitive, but we also are aware that our future quarterback, our franchise guy, is not a free agent anywhere, and he's not currently on our roster. So why not bring in 2 veterans that, can manage the job, maybe not excel at the job, but at least manage the job. And you give yourself a puncher's chance each game you go into, and you never know what can happen. If you add Carter, right, you add him to your pass rush with Burns and Sexy Dexy and Thibodeau or however you say it.
Thibodeau?
Thibodeau. You get back to those NASCAR package days, and I mean, hell, I don't think anybody.
Fife would love it. It's music to his ears. Out there somewhere, he's smiling and he's not sure why. But it's because of everything you're saying right now. And by the way, shout out to him. Happy birthday. His birthday just passed on the 22nd, so shout out to Fife. I hope he's able to join us, but if not, happy birthday. Shout out.
Yeah, I mean, Fife is still upset that they missed out on the last number 11 to come out of Penn State. So I think he'd be pretty excited to get this number 11. I do think Travis Hunter is probably their best pick. I mean, a lot of people think he's probably the best overall football player in this draft.
Saw pretty funny memes going around though that like he's the guy to take because if you had Jameis Winston, he could not only catch the touchdowns, but he could also catch all the interceptions too.
Yeah, I saw that one too. I laughed pretty hard.
I was like, you bastards, but it's true. So true.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like that. Like when I see the memes about the Cowboys, I'm like, God, I hate you people. But it makes it that much worse that you're actually right. So, but yeah, I mean, I personally think he's the best bet for the Giants. I mean, he gives you a potential wide receiver. He gives you.
I'm happy it's not Rodgers. I'm really happy it's not Aaron Rodgers. I don't know where he lands after this because now we know the Giants are off the table. I don't know if it's with the Steelers. I don't know if it's somewhere else, but he's or if it's just nowhere. Maybe it's time for him to go. Maybe nobody wants him.
I told you a couple of weeks I'd love to see him get blackballed out of the league. I can't stand the fucking guy, but he's so really freaking good at throwing a football.
Is he though?
He's just not
Is he though? But the mobility is part of the job. The mobility is part of the job. Unfortunately, it is. Like, anybody can have a great arm. The great arm doesn't mean anything if you don't know how to use, or if you can't use it properly. If you can't move to use your arm to throw it properly and to throw it where you need to throw it, then what good is having the arm still? You need the whole package.
I mean, all I'll say is I think the Giants are better off with Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, or some rookie quarterback in the 7th round than they are having Rodgers.
I agree. And I think they're better off than having Sanders or Cam Ward too. So I'm kind of glad they went this route. It means to me that if they sign, if you sign Winston for 2 years, $8 million, he's a cheap backup to have. And then there would be, if they were planning on drafting a quarterback, there would be no reason to re-sign Tommy DeVito and sign Russell Wilson to a 1-year, $21 million deal. It just wouldn't make sense. So to me, this really means the Giants have now said, we are not going after a QB. It is one of these other players. And like, to me, it's kind of definitive. As somebody, as not, I know that's coming from a Giant fan. So I'm going to ask you as somebody who's not a Giants fan, am I out of my mind? Or am I thinking logically here that this means the Giants are completely out and we're getting either Hunter or we're getting Carter, one of the two?
No, I actually think you're 100% correct. I think this move makes it very clear that the guy that they believe is going to be their franchise quarterback for the next 10 to 15 years is not in this draft. So they're going to play it the right way, sign a veteran, put yourself in a safe spot. Like I said, give yourself a puncher's chance. But overall, know that you're really just trying to make sure you still can get fans in the seats, and then, promise them what's to come in the future with how you're going to handle it. And that's the thing. They got to get this draft pick right. They cannot go some off the wall guy, with the number 3 pick. Trade back, get collateral, take one of, wow, all of a sudden my brain just completely shut off. I'm sorry. Take, the cornerback / wide receiver out of
Hunter.
Thank you. Take Travis Hunter, or take the linebacker pass rusher out of Penn State.
Carter.
My brain just completely shut off. Thank you. My brain just completely shut off when it came to names. But you either take one of them, right? If the quarterbacks go 1-2, you take one of them. If the quarterbacks don't go 1-2, and one of those two guys aren't sitting there, trade back, get the collateral, and build for the future, because that's where this team is at. Their best players are all on rookie contracts. You can't. You want to build this team and build them together and let them grow together. And if you don't believe your quarterback's in this draft, you don't take one just to take one.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I like, as a Cowboys fan, I hope they botch it completely. But as a person just being honest about how I think basketball should work, or how football should work, And then the Giants need to take one of those impact players that they can continue to build around before they go out and find their future quarterback, which is definitely does not seem like that person's in this draft.
No. But speaking of players who still think they're franchise players and those kind of players, transition is here to another player that kind of this deal surprised me, and you brought it up, and I didn't even see it until you brought it up. But Stephon Diggs to the Patriots for 3 years, $69 million. I just don't understand it necessarily for the Patriots. I guess they're trying to get some weapons for Drake May, but Diggs is 31. He's not getting any younger, and his skills are clearly diminishing a little bit here as he's hit 30 and up. I don't know. I just don't see the move. I don't know why, unless the Pats just had money to burn. But I don't know. Do you see this as a move that makes anybody happy? Because I don't see Diggs being really happy there either. If he wasn't happy with it, with Josh Allen throwing him the ball, how the hell is he going to be happy with Drake May? He's leaving, and he's leaving CJ Stroud. So, like, I don't get it.
Okay.
Make it make sense.
Yeah, he's definitely moved down the quarterback hierarchy when it comes down to the talent that he's playing with. But
make it make sense. Honestly, yeah, I can't.
I think what this is that the Patriots have a couple hopes that come out of this signing. One, you got a savvy veteran that can help not only the other young wide receivers on that team, but even help Drake May, right? Like they always say, like, the best quarterback wide receiver duos, they see the field the same way, right? They see the coverage the same way. They see it before the snap is taken. Like that's why you can double team a Hall of Fame wide receiver and they're still going to be able to get open. So I think really for me, like the one is that they hope that he can kind of help May when it comes down to some of the ins and outs and aspects of the game, help some of the younger wide receivers. On how to be as good as he was. And then I think the other thing too, right, is that like they don't have anybody at wide receiver that's good. So even with him not being what he was 2-3 years ago, he's still better than anybody they have on their roster at wide receiver right now. So you're upgrading your roster a little bit. You're bringing some veteran presence. But I agree, right? $23 million a year, or $23 million and change a year for a wide receiver that's 31 years old and coming off of a severe knee injury. Like none of these things are positive. You know what I mean? None of those things help you. So I think
and he's going to a younger, more inexperienced quarterback.
Yeah, I think you're doing the double-edged sword here. You're taking the risk, and if it works out, it's well worth the money. And if it doesn't work out, I guarantee you this is more of a 1-year contract than anything else. It might say 3 years, but I'd be willing to bet money that there's a way for them to get out of that contract after this upcoming season and not have it hurt their salary cap or leave them with a bunch of dead money or anything like that. I guarantee it. I could be wrong, but I'm willing to guarantee it.
Dying on that hill?
I will die on that hill. It says 3 years, but I'm willing to die on the hill that it's really a 1-year contract.
All right, interesting. And there's just one other story that I saw really quickly. I don't know if you have any thoughts on it. To me, I have thoughts because quickly, I don't know. I'm reading this story here. Puka Nacua saying that he wants to retire, go out like Aaron Donald at the age of 30, wants to go out early. So I mean, that gives him 6-7 years left. He's still on his rookie deal. So he's going to get, what, maybe one more deal? I wouldn't give him 2 if he's already telling you that he's going to retire at 30. Like, no, I don't like this is a little bit weird to me. Do you think he's serious about excuse me. Do you think he's serious about this, or is this just making noise on a podcast?
I would say it's more basically making some noise on a podcast, but more specifically, I think what he's basically saying is that if I have a dream scenario, I'd love to be able to retire at 30.
He said this on the Join the Lobby podcast. So to give the credit to the correct podcast, it is the Join the Lobby podcast he said this on.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the other thing you got to remember too, right, is like we've talked about this almost ad nauseum at this point, but number one star wide receivers are getting $30+ million a year. I mean, Jamar Chase just got basically $40 million a year. So even one more contract, if he gets, let's say a 5-year contract, I mean, he could be looking at anywhere between $150 and $200 million over 5 years. I don't know about you, but I could easily retire with that much money.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's highway robbery at its finest, but you're setting your family up for the future for sure.
Yeah, so I think that's more probably one of the behind the scenes, or not behind the scenes, but like in his head type of thought process is like, well, outside of my rookie deal, if I sign one more deal and I sign it for between 30 and 40 million a year for 4 or 5 years, in that time frame, I'll make more than enough money that retiring at 30 is very doable. So, I mean, that to me is all it really is. I mean, he could just be saying it to say it. He could genuinely have his life plan. There's some people out there that could, when you ask him, hey, where are you planning on being in 5 years? Where are you planning on being in 10 years? There's some people out there that can answer that with you with zero hesitation. So, he could just be one of those A-type people where he knows, hey, I'm retiring at 30. I'm going to take a year off at 32. I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. I'm going to get into coach or whatever it is, right? Like, he could have a whole life timeline game plan. And if he gets that next contract, nothing should really stop him from being able to live it.
I agree with you. He's going to get that contract. I mean, what he's able to do as a rookie, I know he was hurt last year, but still put up decent numbers when he came back. He's clearly very talented, and like you pointed out, he's going to get a big contract. And whether that's just one big contract or multiple more big contracts, it's going to be plenty for him to live on, his family to live on, and he's going to do quite well. He's going to be another guy. I don't think he breaks what Jamar Chase got, but at the same time, maybe with the way the trends are, I just think eventually the trends are going to start going the other way again. They have to. Like, these wide receivers are just getting so much money. It's ridiculous. They're eating up so much to cap.
Yeah, I think you're probably spot on, right? Because the offenses, you saw it last year, right? With what Philly did with Saquon, what Baltimore was able to do with Henry, like that blatantly showed offensive teams like, hey, like, you can build up your offensive line and get a pretty damn good running back and be able to still put up, some really good win totals and be considered a team favored to win the Super Bowl. So no need to sit there and tell yourself, oh, I'll pay 40 to a wide receiver if you can pay, 10 to 13 to a running back.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you can find a running back who can make that kind of impact. That's the one thing you don't see in this year's free agency is you just don't see those impact running backs the way that last year's was with Jacobs, with Henry, with Saquon, with all of that. It just was a way better running back class last year for free agency. So it'll be interesting what teams do this year. I think you'll see more teams probably draft them, but draft them probably second, third round. The draft value isn't there like it used to be. You'll see Genty go early. You might see another one go high too. But yeah, for the most part.
Some people are out there saying they could see Genty going to the Raiders at 6. I think that's too high for a running back.
Who'd they sign at quarterback? Who'd they trade for? Geno Smith. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's not a bad move to pair a running back with a QB like that. It's going to take the pressure off of Geno Smith for sure. And if it opens things up for Brock Bowers in the passing game, it's not a bad move to think about it, especially if they already have an okay offensive line. It may not be a bad option.
I don't know. I mean, you make a move like that when you feel like you're one piece away from winning, and they are far from one piece away from winning.
No, but do you, though, or do you take the best available? And if he's the best available, why are you going to pass him up just to grab a lineman or something else that may not work out? See, that's the thing in the draft is sometimes you should go with best available over biggest need because your biggest need may not be the best available guy out there. You build around talent. You got to find the talent.
This is true, but if you can't win in the trenches, you could have all the talent in the world. You ain't winning anything.
Yeah, but that's why. Maybe if they feel good about their offensive line, then maybe it's a move they make.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I thought that was pretty curious. I was like, damn, I did not, like I thought Gentry was going to fall like literally to like 10 to 15. Like, I don't think Dallas is going to make the move for him, but like I had a feeling like Dallas was going to be like the last team that could quote unquote pass on him before somebody took him.
Where is Dallas draft? 10, 11?
Well,
whoa.
Yeah, like I don't see him getting out of the top 15. I thought 6 sounded a little high to take a running back, but a lot of that's just like, I mean, I don't know. The Giants taking Saquon where they took him, that was a waste of a pick for what they needed. Dallas taking Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, they could have definitely made a better choice than that. I mean,
I don't know. Could they have at the time? They had one of the league's best offensive lines. I don't know if they could have made a better move because before that, in the 5-6 drafts before that, they loaded up on offensive line.
It did, but you had a guy like Jalen Ramsey there that you could have paired with put in your secondary because your secondary was trash. I mean, I don't know. Hindsight's 20/20, right? Like you look back at the draft and see who was taken after Elliott and be like, oh well, they like the one that'll always stick in my craw no matter how old I get is them taking Taco Charlton 2 picks before Pittsburgh took TJ Watt. Like, how did you watch the tape and say Taco Charlton is better than TJ Watt? How?
Taco! Because tacos are fun.
Tacos are awesome, but not on a football field.
I don't know. They're pretty awesome at a football field too. If they had them in the stadium, I'd have a taco.
Would you have one while you had your pads on?
No, but I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, like tacos aren't bad. I can't hate on that move.
No, you just hate on the football player that Dallas drafted with the first name Taco. That's all I can do. And it's not his right. Like, it's not his fault that they took him, but I think it's fair to say he contributed to his lack of success as a first-round draft pick. I think I could at least say that.
Yeah, he definitely. But yeah, that all said, I guess we can move on to our last topic. I have a feeling he may not get to us, but it's all good. We're gonna hit this topic anyway. And that is, can't leave this week's show without talking about, because you never know if it could happen, Ovechkin possibly breaking Gretzky's record. He's 7 goals away. There's 12 games left. It's possible. But is it actually going to happen? Is it realistic to expect him? I mean, I believe he has 35 goals in 54 games played this year as well. So he's clearly close to the pace needed. Will he get there? My question to you, Dave.
That's what I think kills him. 7 goals in 12 games. That's a hell of a feat. That's not easy to do. That's not something that happens regularly in the NHL. So I'm a little nervous that he might not be able to pull it off. I hope he does. I mean, you see pictures of him, like, he's old. Hey, Ovechin's up there, man. And I mean, I'm sure he would come back another year just to break that record, but I'm sure if it was up to him, he probably wouldn't mind hanging up those skates after this season and have that, he's got his Stanley Cup. You get that record, walk away on a high note, and still have, if God is, God willing, you still got half your life ahead of you.
That's true. I mean, Capitals are playing right now. It's 7 minutes to go in the first, and they're down 1-0. So, just throwing it out there.
That game is actually the 2 best records in the NHL. So if you have ESPN Plus or a way to watch it, I highly suggest that you do.
But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the Capitals schedule from here on out. So say he gets one tonight. So he's got to get 6 in the next 11 games going forward. So let's look at the next 11, see what he's got. I mean, do they have a chance here? And that being said, I mean, I look at it. You got Winnipeg tonight, then they got Minnesota, Buffalo, Boston, Carolina, Chicago, the Islanders, Carolina, Columbus, the Islanders, Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh and the Islanders, I don't think much of. The Blue Jackets, I believe, are in the race for the wild card. Carolina's good. You got to play them twice. And Minnesota and Boston. It's so I don't know. I'm going to say he doesn't get there. I'm going to take the under, and I'm going to say he does not break the record before the end of the regular season.
Yeah, we're going to have to agree on that, my friend. I don't think he has enough time. And some of those teams have some really freaking good goalies.
Yeah, he's got to play a couple of back-to-backs, too. He's got to play Boston and Carolina on the road on a back-to-back. And then he's got to play Columbus on a back-to-back on a home and away. So that's a tough feat. Yeah, I just don't see him doing it. It's a lot, and he's old. Unfortunately, the reason he's breaking Gretzky's record is more because of the longevity of him playing than it is because of him being on pace to beat what Gretzky did. And I mean, by the way, people keep saying like, oh, does this make Ovechkin the GOAT? By the way, go and look at the rest of the stats. See how many assists behind Ovechkin is for Gretzky. It's not even close. So, yeah, Gretzky's still the GOAT, even if this record is broken.
Yeah, and I think Gretzky did it in like 3 less seasons.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I mean. Yeah, the longevity is why he's breaking this record. For sure.
It's kind of like LeBron.
Yeah, but they... Is it like LeBron, though? Is he the LeBron of hockey?
See, I won't say it that way. I'm just saying when it comes down to breaking a scoring record. And I only say that, again, what LeBron's done in 22 years and playing at the level he's played at this year is nothing short of impressive. I'm not trying to take away from him. I might be a LeBron hater, but I'm not taking away from what he's done for 22 straight years. Literally nobody's been able to do that. But my point is, if LeBron only, Jordan played 17 years, I think it was, right? Like, LeBron James's points per game average is not, I don't even think it's top 5. It's just he's played for so long.
Yeah. You got a good point there. You got a good point.
How do you not respect it, right? You played professional NBA basketball from 18 and you're 40, almost 41 years old.
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing short. That is nothing short of impressive. It's just the reality is it helps when it comes down to breaking.
And listen, he's still a good player. He's still like as solid an NBA player as there is. I mean, is he the greatest player in the game right now? Probably not, but is he a damn good player? And anybody would probably be happy to have him on their team? Probably. You know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, as much as we all hate on LeBron, he's still damn good, unfortunately. His son, a different story, but he's damn good.
Completely agree. Yeah, I think, but either way, no. Back to the original point. Even if or when, right? Because obviously, if he doesn't break it this year, he has to come back next year to do it. So if or when he does actually break it,
does he come back just to break it and then retire? Or do you think he comes back next year, plays the whole year out, regardless?
I think he's the kind of guy where he would try to play the whole year. I don't think he would come back just to break it and then retire. I think he's got too much of a competitive attitude to him. Like, now, on the other hand, he would become the poster boy for load management. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no back-to-backs, no, yeah. I can definitely see that.
like out of an 82 game season, let's say he comes out of this, right, and he needs 4 goals. Out of an 82 game season, he'd probably play early in the year, right? So they try to get it, and then they'd load manage him. I don't think he'd play more than 40 to 50 games if he comes back next year.
I mean, he played 54 this year, not including tonight's game. So including tonight's game, he had 12 left. So, I mean, max he could play this season, he's even 66. If you think about it with the injuries he's had.
Yeah, and that's just Father Time. No, nobody beats Father Time.
No, undefeated. Undefeated.
Yeah, you might be able to hold him off, right? If it's a boxing match, right, or baseball, you might get extra innings. But you're not at some point. Father Time is going to hit that walk-off home run, and you're going to have to go sit on that bench and hold your head down.
It's absolutely true. Absolutely true, my friend.
Speaking of, just because I said the word boxing, we do have to do a quick RIP to the one and only George Mother effing Foreman. Now, when he boxed, I don't even think we were, sparkles in our mom's eyes at that point in time. But he was a great boxer. He had a great personality, and I'm pretty sure every person in our generation either had one or used a George Foreman grill at least once in their lifetime.
Oh yeah, I owned one. We owned one in his family, absolutely.
Oh, I loved my George Foreman grill, man. Just whip up a quick grilled cheese without even trying. Life was good. A couple burgers. Life was good. So I know we both have respect for him. So I want to make sure that we,
the man's got a lot of children too, if I believe right. Like he's got a whole bunch of them named George. I think some others too. Like I think he's got a lot of kids. He's out there. He's like Antonio Cromartie and Phillip Rivers, and like he's up in that category, I think.
Antonio Brown, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, he's in that category of fatherhood.
Yeah, best stat from the NFL this entire season. Tyreek Hill had more kids than touchdown catches. That one killed me.
That is funny. Yeah, but speaking of the in memorandum, since we're going to do it, I'm going to shout out to me, and shout out to Joey if he's out there listening. The Yankees had a loss. Brett Gardner, he lost his 14-year-old son just the other day, and it tragically, definitely unexpectedly, he fell ill and then passed away, unfortunately. And yeah, so 14 years old, that's unbelievable. So young. So shout out to Brett Gardner and his family. Thoughts and prayers to them as they go through something that I'm sure no parent ever wants to go through whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I may not be a baseball guy, but I'll agree with you on that wholeheartedly. No parent should ever have to bury a child. I don't care how old that kid gets. Like, I mean, I don't know about you, but
14, whole life in front of him. What could you have done by 14? You know what I mean? Think about it. By the time you were 14, like, would you really, like, you've literally everything in front of you. Like, and just to be cut short like that, oh, tragic.
Yeah, the only things I did at 14 were stupid things that I'm glad I got out of the way before social media.
Yeah, we lived in a good time without social media yet. Like, social media, it didn't come around till we were in college. And I feel like that's when, like, MySpace, like, and Facebook and, like, that kind of stuff kind of started. But even still, like, I didn't have a Twitter for a long time. I didn't have a Facebook for a long time. Like, I don't think I had Facebook until, like, 2008 or 9. Like, it was a long time. Like, I had a MySpace, I think, way back in the day. But, like, even that, like, we didn't have that. Like, we weren't out there videoing everything and posting it and doing the things that the kids are doing today. Yeah, we definitely, I'm kind of glad that we lived back then, too. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was 19 when I made my my MySpace page. And I think I was like 22, 23. So, yeah, you're lining up right around 2008, 2009 when I had created my Facebook page.
Yeah, right? It's like, you think about it, we didn't have any of that stuff before. And I mean, listen, it kind of helped when we were younger, too, because we were the age before Ring cameras, before any place really had, like, big camera systems out or security systems out. So, I mean, I remember as kids, we'd do all sorts of stupid stuff, and we'd, like, there was a hotel like not far from where the park we'd always be playing at. So some like occasionally if we were playing late, we'd run over there and like ring and run like an entire floor of hotel rooms and dart out of there, and security would come chasing us in their little cart. And, we'd hop the curb and go back over into the park, and they couldn't get over there with their cart, But we couldn't do that nowadays because they'd have your picture on every camera walking in and out of the place. Like, they'd have us in 2 seconds, they'd be at our houses. God. It would, completely, you can't get away with any of that stuff anymore. So, yeah, no, definitely glad we lived in an age before all the cameras, before all the nonsense, before that stuff where we just had some good, innocent fun.
Exactly. We weren't hurting nobody. We were just annoying adults. That's all we did. We just drove them nuts.
Pretty much.
And last I checked, as a teenager and a tween, that's literally your number one job: annoy adults.
It's still my number one job.
I know. Janice talks about it all the
time. She does. It's true.
Oh shit.
Speaking of which, I think we're about to go out there and watch some televisione. And
we're done annoying the adults that are listening to the show.
I'll go out there and boop her. She'll really love that.
There you go. Tell her it was my idea. Double down.
Well, that being said, my friend, I think that's about it for this week. So, you want to tell the people where they can find you? And, yeah. Let's wrap this baby up. Hit that like, subscribe, follow, share button, do all those free fun things for us. And in the meantime, Dave, where can we find you?
Sitting in traffic in northern New Jersey. Fucking
shit. What's the point? I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, it's basically me and every other person I know driving in this shit right now. But if you can't joke about it, all you're gonna do is drive yourself through the fucking wall. So anyway, you can find me on Instagram, dhastings23, and on Twitter, now known as X, David Hastings23. If you don't know how to spell Hastings, I can't help you. Figure it out.
That's not that hard. And you can find Louie at Louie Aussie Dude, our unofficial fourth co-host. On Instagram at Louie Aussie Dude. You can find me on Twitter at or X at The Living Legend, or you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Spotify, anywhere else at Die on This Hill. Please like, subscribe, follow, share, do all those free fun things for us. We greatly appreciate it. And until next time, don't be afraid to have an opinion. And die on that hill with us. Boom. All right, we are saved. Music is down. Just gotta stop the stream.
You brought Louis